two, one. What's going on, folks? Welcome to 34 Questions. Tonight, I have a very special guest. Mr. Dave Koch is in the building. How you doing, sir?
What's up, everybody? How you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Doing well. First off, just want to thank you for coming on and being open to share your story. Definitely appreciate it. I know it's not always easy for everybody to kind of open up. So yeah, definitely am grateful that you're willing to.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm one that, I don't mind opening up at all, man, because it keeps me rolling,
I hear you. For the folks out there who are unfamiliar with the flow of the show, we do some intro questions, some warm-up questions just to set the tone. Throw in a couple icebreakers just to keep it light in the beginning. And then we jump into the main portion where you begin choosing numbers between 1 and 34. Sounding good to you?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
All right. Well, my very first question for you is, how have you been? You've been doing well. You've been doing great. How you been?
Man, I've been doing great. I'll tell you the truth. Life is good. I live over in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Man, weather's been nice. It's been good. I got to Harley, got to ride a little bit in the past month. Not too much. My lady's kind of down. She's got a hip replacement this month, but everything's going good, man. Kids are doing well these days. My grandbaby's growing and keeping me going. Work is good. Everything's good, dude. I just,
That's awesome.
Sunshine around here, man.
I'm very happy to hear that you're doing well. I'm out here in California, so we just opened up and things are a little bit getting back to normal. Has it been normal for you guys out there for a while now?
Yeah, South Carolina's been a lot looser than you guys have on this. We've been opened up for a while, and in the Myrtle Beach area, this is our time. This is our time to shine and make the money. So it's been pretty wide open. We've been open almost all year, I guess, pretty much. We have a big golf industry down here, so the golf courses have really been kicking it up through the springtime. And now you can't get a hotel room. My sister wanted to come down this week, and it was like, I said, honey, if you can get a hotel room, you're not going to stay down here anyplace. So, that's just the way it is. But it's good for the city. It's, people are getting back. Our unemployment rate's been dropping 3 months in a row. So people are getting back to work. And, that's kind of exciting for everybody when the economy starts kicking up,
No, absolutely. I think I'm feeling that wave right now here in California because we have been super strict. So I'm always curious how other people's experiences have been, where they're coming from. Yeah. So for sure. Before we go any further, let's jump into these icebreakers, if you don't mind. This first one is a one-word spelling bee. So I don't know if you've seen, if you've seen some episodes, then let me know if you've heard this word before. But if you haven't, go for it.
Okay.
How you feeling about your spelling skills? Feeling good?
I'm not too bad. I'm a crossword puzzle guy, so I'm okay.
You got this on lock. Your word is going to be Presbyterian.
Oh, Presbyterian.
You got it. First try.
Dang, come on, brother.
I had to make it harder for you, man.
Dude, that was tough too. Now that's kind of how my family was, we were Presbyterian. I didn't, you'll hear that story a little bit maybe, but I didn't really go there and practice it, but so I guess that maybe that's how I knew.
Yeah. It was in there somewhere.
Dude, that was a tough one. That's the toughest word you ever give anybody from what I hear. I never heard a word like that. Come on.
My second choice for you was going to be soliloquy.
You would have got me on that one.
Yeah,
dude,
I would have got you.
Yeah, we went coast to coast on that Presbyterian, man.
Yeah, and you took your time. That was a good attempt, man. I appreciate that. All right, well, my second icebreaker for you is a riddle. How are you with riddles?
Oh, not too bad. I'm kind of a critical thinker, so we'll see.
Interesting. Okay, I'll give, since I went easy on you on that first one, I'm gonna go give you one of the harder ones right now.
That's what you say.
Well, you're a critical thinker. I think you might get this. You might get this.
All right, let's see.
The day before yesterday, and I'm not speaking for myself, this is just a riddle, but the day before yesterday, I was 21. The next year, I will be 24. When is my birthday?
The day before yesterday, I was 21.
And next year, I will be 24. When is my birthday?
Before yesterday, I was 21. Man, you got me on that one, bro.
No worries. No worries.
No words for that.
All right.
I don't know. You got me.
The answer is December 31st.
Day before yesterday, I was 20. Oh.
It's that, you know.
That's a play on words right there. Dude, that's good.
Yeah, it's a good one. You feel free to use that one. Feel free to use that one.
Nice. I like that.
All right. Well,
so, here we go.
Let's jump into the warm-up questions.
Yeah.
My first one for you gonna be, what would you like the audience to know about you? It's the first time we're meeting, so you know, if you're just gonna introduce yourself, what would you like the folks out there to know about you?
Cool, man. So, I'm a guy, I'm a 60-year-old guy who's, lived half his life, more than half his life in a mess, and now is, turning his life around, trying to do good. Man, I'm a family man. I've been married 36 years coming up this summer. I got 3 boys and a great grandson. My poor wife's got all boys in the house, but, it's just, just the way that turned out. Dude, I work in a great organization, a nonprofit that I help homeless people, youth, 18 to 24, get in households and, actually get them in permanent housing, which is just, a fantastic situation. Life's going good for me these days, honestly, I think I've figured it all out, and I'm able to help people each and every day. I'm able to spend time with my family every day. I don't stress anymore about things, I think, life is just good. Hopefully I'll be, that legacy that, I know you talk about, hopefully that legacy, people just say, Dave was a good guy. Dave was a guy that really loved people, really, wanted to help people and did something, not just wanted to, but really went out and did something. That's me.
That's awesome, man. I think I really vibe with you already. Just what it sounds like, where you're coming from, what you're trying to do in life. Yeah. I'm happy to have you on, and I'm extra looking forward to this conversation. If I wasn't already,
dude, I'm happy. Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here, man. This is great.
You talked about feeling like you've figured it out. What do you mean by that?
So, I've learned life isn't about being what you can get, it's what you can give. And it's about that simple, dude. It's, half my life I was chasing that dream, chasing that high, chasing that drunk, chasing that stuff, just accumulating. And it was all about me. And now, I spend my time, again, just trying to give, what can I do? And it's not motivated by, it's not motivated by any kind of selfish desires, because sometimes motivation, you have to really look at motivation of why we do things. Sometimes people are volunteering out in the community and they do things, but it's for the wrong reason, because sometimes it's like, hey, look at me, I'm doing this. Hey, look at me, I'm doing that. And, we're volunteering, and hey, we're on Facebook, hey, look at this, and we're doing all this. And, I've kind of learned, throughout my days, and I've been through that, phase in my life, and I've done things for the wrong motivation. And it's actually, I went through an ethics class. I graduated college last year, by the way. Got a bachelor degree in human services. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
At 59 years old, but I had an ethics class that really got me thinking about that, my motivation in life. And, I knew I wanted to do things, but I learned now to be careful about watching my motivation, and why am I doing it? Am I doing this certain thing, deeply, or is it really just to really help somebody? Or is it some kind of a, something that's building me up? On the inside. I have to be real careful with that, because I do get out and do a lot of work now, and I'm on a leadership team for Celebrate Recovery, a Christian-based 12-step group or a program. And, so I do a lot of things in that. And I just, I always have to check my motivation, where am I at with that?
I gotcha. Yeah, I think, what kind of led me to this podcast was a similar feeling of wondering what my motivation was. Before, my very first dream was to become a rapper, and that felt, at a certain point I realized it was really more about my ego and trying to find this confidence in this role, because that's what I was looking up to, was rappers on TV. And then I tried to start this clothing brand, which I felt like I wrapped up into my identity. Like when I was introducing myself to folks, it would be like, oh yeah, I own this clothing brand, even though, trust me, it's nothing like that. So moving on to this podcast was like, I mean, I'm so happy I found a way to have it feels like I'm building with people, right? Like I have you on here, and you are helping me build this thing, and it makes me feel good to I don't think other people see it that way. They see, they're obviously the guests, but for me, just for me to feel good about what I'm doing with my life, it's like, all right, I'm bringing these people to be a part of this bigger thing than all of us, but yeah, no, so I definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's great. That motivation, that just keeps you rolling. That's cool.
Yeah, no doubt. Moving on to the second question in the warm-up.
All right.
If someone were to pay you a tribute, how would you like to be honored? So if I was going to tell myself today I'm going to do something in the honor of Dave Koch, what could I do?
Wow. If you were going to do something, am I dead or still alive?
I didn't say that, but either way, like you could, I would just say in general, like I foresee it, like if it was your birthday, maybe, I could do it for you. And then afterwards I could continue doing it in your honor,
Yeah, man. For me, a really cool tribute. Again, I told you that I work with homeless guys and girls, and honestly, if it any kind of tribute for me, it would be either to do something, have a Dave Koch feeding the homeless day, out in the park or something like that. Something like that would be a pretty cool tribute to me. There's no doubt about it. There's, that's just and it's something that's funny. In Myrtle Beach, there is a kind of a funny, it's not funny at all. There's an attitude about homelessness, and they, because it's a resort town, so they don't want the, outsiders and the tourists to see all the homelessness, and so they kind of push and shun and move them into areas and spots. And there was a couple that used to, after church on Sunday, they used to go in a park and they'd buy like 60 meals, and they'd bring them and they'd have them in those clamshell things, and they'd hand them out to the homeless. Dude, they came and arrested him 2 times in a row, 2 weekends in a row. They arrested him, told him it was against the law to do that, to feed people in the park like that. Yeah. And I don't know what the law was that they cited. So they quit doing it, So to have something like that would be an honor to me. It would be kind of like a, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll feed them in Dave Cook's honor.
I got you. And you know what? Maybe there's a certain permit they just had to sign up for to be allowed to do something like that. Who knows? It could be a lot of things with that. Cause that kind of blows my mind. I don't know if out there. I know out here it's illegal to pay for someone's parking meter. Like you can't go around like trying to help people.
Come on.
I know. Yeah, you get excited for that one, but
wow.
Yeah, I need
That's
to do a
crazy.
segment of crazy laws and see if people think they're real or not. But
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That'd be a game show kind of thing.
for sure. All right.
Nice.
Now we know exactly what to do in your honor. Last question of the warm up is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how well do you know yourself?
Ooh, I'm about a 9.5. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but because I look at myself a lot. That's a daily thing now for me. That's part of recovery.
Is a reflection, self-reflection, or?
Absolutely. It's funny. I just talked about it tonight. I was in a meeting tonight. So I'm in a 12-step group, with some guys that there's 4 of us, and we are very tight. And we work through this program of, it's the Celebrate Recovery program. Again, that, Christ-based 12-step group. And yeah, we are getting right down to the end. We're in step 10, and that's about, looking at yourself every single day. And we were just talking about journaling, as a matter of fact, tonight. And that's just another tool that I have fallen away from, that I had just seen this journal keeps coming up on Facebook. It's a men's journal. It's a nice leather bound journal, and it keeps coming up on Facebook. And I was talking about it tonight, and I was like, dude, this thing just keeps coming up. I know I'm supposed to buy one so that I can start journaling every day. And that's it. It's that daily self-reflection in that thing. And, I've been through the 12 steps now, like 3, this is my 3rd time all the way through. So yeah, I know myself really well, sometimes too well, because then once you know yourself really well, then you're responsible for yourself. And so when I'm screwing up, I really already know very well what I should be doing to do the right thing. So, knowledge is power, and power sometimes gets you into a situation. And so, yeah, I'm about a 9.5 on that. And I'm going to get better because I'm going to get that journal tomorrow.
That's awesome. What would you say is the benefits of journaling, or if you have journal, or you're just about to start? Is that?
But I've done it before, so
Yeah, what would you say is the benefits of journaling?
So, what's cool about it is we were looking and we look at like a daily thing, and you jot down, some of the good things that you did today. Journaling is, or self-reflection isn't always just about looking at the bad things and trying to fix it. You're looking at the good things too. So you want victories along with your challenges. And so what you can do then is, you can look back maybe at the end of each week and read through them and see where you're at. And, definitely each quarter, and go back and read through. And as you read through, you can start to see patterns in your life develop. And you can see good patterns, what patterns that you need to nurture. Then you can see bad patterns that you need to come up with an idea how to change those, behaviors.
I gotcha. Throughout my life, there's always been brief moments where I attempted journaling for like maybe a week. I don't know why I could never stick with it. But recently, one of the things that I feel like may have changed my life, and I think it is, but I tried writing down every single memory I could remember, and sometimes it'd be the bad ones, right? And it felt like I could let it go as soon as I wrote it. It was from my mind to, I didn't write it physically, maybe I should have, but I typed it up. But just that process made me feel like I'm really letting it go. So I don't know if that is similar to what journaling could feel like for you, but I know for me that's what I got out of it, and I kind of saw it as journaling too. But yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing because, and it is an outlet. And, the more things that you start writing down, I don't know how much you're familiar with, 12 steps and that kind of thing, but the fourth step, you have to start writing down some things. And that's where most people drop out of a 12-step group, is because you have to start writing down all the bad things that you did in life, but all the good things too. And it's the same thing, but it's that, like you say, writing something down there's power in releasing that, there is real power, because that's just, it's part of admitting, that you're not perfect and that there's things that is wrong, because I believe innately, inside, we all know right from wrong. I mean, I think that we were all born right from wrong. My 5-year-old grandson, he's known right from wrong. When he does something wrong and he knows it, and I just look at him, he knows, and he'll start crying, or because he knows inside, and I think we all have that, and we did things, but when we start releasing that, and writing is a release, and we put that stuff down in paper, and it gets real powerful when you have to share it with another person that you really trust. That's when it really gets crazy. But you want to talk about release, man, that's it right there, bro.
Yeah. Another way the pen is mightier than the sword, right?
Absolutely.
And just gotta ask you, what's your favorite thing about your personality?
Wow. I would have to say my favorite thing about my personality is that I always have a very positive attitude and outlook. It's really gotten crazy out of hand lately. Because my wife says it, she's like, man, you just don't ever get upset anymore about things, it's just like, everything's cool, babe, don't worry about it, it's going to be fine, we're going to get through this, or, whatever it is. I just have a positive outlook. I look at things sunny side up all the time. It's just, there's no sense in not, no sense in going around with a negative attitude. It doesn't help anybody in any situation. And I just think positivity, it's just that groove. My 33-year-old son, he's pretty much a hippie. He doesn't wear shoes. He's got them dreadlocks, and he's sending me positive vibes every morning and all that stuff. And, and that's cool. But, and that's the situation, it's just like, hey, man, every day is another day that we can go out and do something awesome, and do something to, make somebody else's day bright. I'm that guy that'll open that door for you and give a big smile to you. And, that might have been just the one thing that made your day. That could have been the thing that saved you from, I don't know, doing something dumb that day, or doing something bad. And, I always feel like that. I feel like, I can just be that person that's always positive. I like to spread a little positive vibes around, you know what I mean?
No, I am 100% with you. My approach to it is like, if I'm either gonna be, feeling this way or that way, I'd rather be on that end of the spectrum, or like seeing the world in that way. Even if I could be wrong sometimes, I mean, but for me, it's like a better way of living, and I'll admit when I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm with you. For sure. We made it to the main portion of the interview, where you start to choose numbers between 1 and 34. Got 3 levels: easy, medium, hard. Where would you like to start?
I mean, how many questions we're getting in each? Let's do
Each one has 34, so
we'll do a couple of the easy ones. Let's go. Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7.
That's God's number.
God's number?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's it.
I'm gonna ask you why right after this question. But what change would you like to see in the world?
Man, I wish the world would just be positive. You know, there, and that's honest. That's so funny. That comes right after, you know, what we were talking about, because there is so much negativity in the world. I think people are, you know, there's a lot of things like, you know, and a lot's gone on in the past 18 months, you know, and people are just slam freaked out, tired, wore out, scared. You know, so many things are going on, man. I was in a Walmart yesterday, and I went, I always run through the self-checkout so I can get out of there. And I go running up, and the lady that was like, you know, working the little self-checkout, she was like moving some bags and putting bags in places. And she was just right in front of me. And you know, I was just sitting there kind of waiting for her, because I was, you know, that was the only open one. And, you know, she got there, and she just turned around and just had that kind of scowl on her face, you know, and just took off and kept on going, you know. And I just looked at her for a couple of minutes, man. I just said, Lord, you know, you just bless that girl, because, you know, she's really sad. She's distraught, not feeling good. And there's so many people like that in the world, you know. My heart goes out to them. You know, I don't know what their situation is, you know, and I don't know what's going on, but I feel, you know, bad for them. I have compassion for people. And I think that, you know, I just wish something could happen in the world to bring everybody's spirits up all at once, you know. And it's not, you know, I don't know if it's not anything the government's going to do. It's not going to be throwing a bunch of money at us. It's not going to be, you know, any programs. Well, programs can help, but, you know, it's just, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be supernatural. You know, someday there needs to be something supernatural just to lighten the spirits, you know, just for a couple days, you know, get people to see another side. I would just like some movie, you know. I just like to see something crazy happen. Some alien ship come down and drop a beam down that just, you know, puts everybody in a Christmas spirit or something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, it has to be some kind of like discovery, you know, like maybe a cure, or like ending world hunger. Everyone's just like rejoicing, like we did it together. And globally, you know, not just nationwide, but
right.
No, I hear you. You had made me think of something, but I had it flew my mind, so I'm sorry. Seven, bro.
7.
Oh yeah. Why? No, that was number 7. That was number
That's
7.
biblical. It's biblical. No, but you want to ask me why it's God's number?
Yes. Oh, why God's number?
Because it's biblical. That's, you know, there's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of 7s that show up in the Bible, and the 7 days of creation. You know, that's, you know, when we have 7 days a week. But there's a lot of different places in the Bible that talk about the number 7. That's why I said it's God's number.
I gotcha. I know the 7th day, God rested, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why we try and lay out on Sunday. I'm busy as anything on Sunday, but
you gotta have one day though. That one day where you can relax. I hope you do.
Actually, Saturday is the 7th day, and I don't work on Saturday. I play with my kids or ride my Harley.
I gotcha. That sounds like a good Saturday to me.
Absolutely.
How long you been riding motorcycles for?
Man, I got my first bike when I was in the Navy. I was about 21 or 22 years old. So that would be 38 years. Been a while.
What would you say is a common mistake for anyone who's trying to get into, you know, riding a motorcycle? Like, you know, I don't ride motorcycles, but like, Is there a stereotype where, you know, I might be coming into it thinking this one thing, but yeah, what would you say?
Well, you know, younger guys, because, you know, we have a couple bike rallies down here, and you know, really 3 of them major bike rallies, and the younger guys that, you know, drive their motorcycles like, you know, they're race bikes. They are race bikes, but they ride them like they're on a race track in the city. That's, you know, not cool. That's a major mistake. Something to, you know, people get killed on motorcycles in Myrtle Beach all the time in these big bike rallies. And, you know, major mistake is also thinking that other people are looking for you, because they're not. And I don't ride in the city much. If I ride in the city, I'm in an organized ride with 200 different bikes, and I've got police escorts, and that's how I ride in the city. Otherwise, I'm out in the woods, or we heading out to the mountains. That's what's up with us.
I got you. Go ahead and throw me the number.
All right, let's try. Gosh, I don't know. 23.
23. What does unconditional love look like for you?
Dang, I don't even have that list in front of me, and I think this is awesome. What a hit that was. Dang, bro. Nice. Man, unconditional love is just so cool once you figure it out. So that, recovery and unconditional love go along with each other. There's a lot happening there. Unconditional love and let's just go in my family. We talk about that a little bit. My wife, she should have left me. She did leave me 3 times. I mean, we were separated 3 times, but she should have been gone forever. She should have kicked me out forever a long time ago. But you know what? She has, she's always believed that, God was going to make this thing right. And, she always knew, she saw the guy that I really am. She saw me now, who I am now. She saw him a long time ago, and she stuck with me and stuck with that guy because she knew he was going to come, and he did come out, and he's finally here. But her believing in me and praying for me, all those years, man, I think, that was a real show of unconditional love. She, just went through it and did it all. Our boys, it's, they've done a lot of stuff. And, I've got my 33-year-old is a recovered heroin addict. And my 24-year-old is still an active alcoholic. My 16-year-old is, not hit any of that. They call him the golden child, actually, but he, and he might not. I mean, who knows? They were all raised with a different dad, really, because their dad was at different points of his life, because they're very spread apart as you are by the ages. So, but, it doesn't matter what those kids do. Until are you a father?
I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you become a father, you will figure out that unconditional love at some point, because it doesn't matter what they do. You will love them unconditionally. There is nothing that anybody can do to tear that love, for your kids away. And I mean, it's a bond that the day that child is born and you look in their eyes and you pick them up and hold them, a lot of times in your one hand, it never changed, man. It'll never be the same.
Yeah, I think that's something that I guess a part of me kind of fears, like in me, I feel like when that moment happens, I don't feel like my life will, wow, damn, I feel so selfish now. Feel so selfish just talking that out. But
it's tough, man.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's a reason why it isn't time for me yet. But yeah, interesting. Thank you for sharing your perspective on that. Unconditional love. Also, I think it is more rare nowadays too. Like my folks, just a little backstory of like, how I was raised. My dad also had to overcome some things as well when it came to substance abuse. And yeah, my mom, could have left and either taken me or did her own thing. But they're one of the greatest examples I have of love, sticking together and believing in each other. So I definitely understand that story.
That's cool.
It's home.
Good. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
I'm glad for them.
Oh,
and you.
Absolutely. Because yeah, I work with kids right now who are are going through some stuff, and not all their families are together, and I just can't imagine what it'd be like. So. Yeah.
I see it all the time myself, and it's terrible. Broken families really, there's that's another thing that, if there was something I would love to see, every kid have, two parents, and, because I think it makes a big difference in people's lives.
It does. I don't know, you ever, like, I feel like there's more of a awareness within my generation or your son's generation where, people who don't feel like they'd be good parents are avoiding it, like, is that
absolutely?
Yeah, I think that's happening, which is interesting, but also, like, how it's different from previous generations, right? We had the baby booming era and everything, so but yeah.
Well, that was a little different because they were all coming home from the war.
True. See, I'm pretty ignorant, so.
You're just not as old as me. That's all. I am a baby. I am a boom baby. So.
I gotcha. All right. Let's move on to another number.
We're gonna step up a category. Let's go to medium, and let's go medium number 14.
Medium number 14. What is your pet peeve?
Oh, wow. There's things that I'm just sad about. It's just so sad. Dishwashers, man. So I used to be really big about the forks with the forks and the knives with the knives in the dishwasher. So I kind of let up on that. I thought, I'll just let up and I'll ease up on that dishwasher thing. So I did that, but I still can't stand it when people can't put the rest of the stuff in the dishwasher the way Dave wants it. You know what I mean?
I got you.
I am so sad. I am like, there is something wrong with me, bro. I will go in there in the dishwasher and I'll open it up and I am rearranging. I am moving stuff. I got to move the cups over here and those little bowls over there. And oh my God, who put this on the top shelf? Put it down on the bottom. Dude, I can't stop. I don't know what. I'll have to go to a 12-step meeting to figure this one out too, man. I can't stop doing it. My pet peeve is that, and people that don't know how to drive. I'm terrible in the car. I am. That's sad too. I am so bad. And that's something I was talking about in the meeting today. That's when I'm at my worst self, is when I'm in the car.
And that's one thing that it shouldn't be, but it is kind of subjective of, what constitutes a good driver or a good driver.
Hey, I'm from Michigan originally, so see, we make cars so we can drive them better.
Yeah, that'd be funny if you ever come out here, check out my drive and let me know if I'm doing it wrong. We got the I don't know if you ever heard of the California roll. You ever heard of that term?
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's so funny. My wife loves the California roll. No, the real one.
No one's there. Oh, I was gonna say no one's there, but for sure.
I've driven in California. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
I've been on the 5. Is it the 5?
It's the 5. Yeah. From that.
I've been on the 5.
Sure.
Did LA to San Diego down to Tijuana.
Yeah. I still haven't been to Tijuana, actually. I need to get out there.
Yeah, my brother took me when I was like 15 or 16 or something. I guess 16 years old. Took me down to Tijuana, and that's part of my whole alcoholism deal, because my older brothers were always turning me on to stuff, and that was a rough day. He got a DUI that night, as a matter of fact. I was passed out on the highway waiting for my sister-in-law to come pick us up, and I'm laying there with another friend out in the middle of out there on the side of the road, passed out.
This was before
they took him to jail.
This was before cell phones, before all that. How did you?
Oh yeah.
How did you like?
I don't know how all that happened. Hey, dude, I was not in any condition to really remember much.
I got
I
you.
was 16 years old that had been drinking tequila all day and drinking beer and throwing up in a place called the Long Bar. I remember it very well, actually. I remember some of it anyway.
I got you.
Sad day.
A tough one for sure. Well, thank you for sharing that story. Yeah.
Anytime.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball right now. Actually, it's one of the questions that I choose for you, and it's gonna be a fill in the blank. And you had kind of mentioned it, so I'm kind of curious what your perspective is on it. But religion is blank.
Yeah, I'd like to say a couple things, but I'll be careful with that.
For sure.
Religion is blank. So I almost want to say religion is fake. I don't know how to describe what I feel about it. Am I going to get to expound on this? Great. Here I go. So I was religious for a good period of time. I never went to church when I was a young kid. I wasn't brought up in the church. Somewhere around 1991, when my wife and I were either just coming out of the second separation, somebody invited us to a church, and I went there, and I really I met Jesus for the first time, really, and I got tied into that church. I got sober for about 9.5 years and got right into that church, but it was a real religious kind of situation. And remember I was talking about motivation and doing things and all that stuff. Well, I became, I worked all the time. I was doing the works of the church, and I was volunteering and doing stuff. And then I became a children's pastor. And, it was all just a big facade, it was just big children's pastor, it's just a bunch of junk is what it was. And it ended up, the pastor ended up falling. I had quit my career. I was at 10 years at Wendy's, and I was a district manager. I quit my career to go full time with that church. And 2 months later, it fell apart. At that point, dude, I just spiraled down. I just went, and I ended up, more into drugs and alcohol. I found cocaine after that, and it was just terrible. And I went on I don't know, probably 10, 12 year, stint, where it was really bad. But when I came out of it, and I went to rehab, and I got out of rehab and had to figure out, what I was going to do out in the real world. I started going to AA, and not a commonly thought of as a spiritual program, but I got more spiritual in AA than any place. And I learned there where there was such a big difference between being religious and being spiritual. Being religious seems to me as rote learning, if you would, just kind of, knowing all this Bible knowledge and being able to quote scriptures and, all this stuff, that people do. And, and at that point, but being spiritual is having a relationship, with, your higher power is what they would say at AA meetings. For me personally, that would be Jesus Christ. And, but for some people who, whatever it is, whatever they're connecting with, and that's what's cool about it, because religion will say, you have to be, you're Presbyterian or you're Catholic or you're charismatic or you're Protestants or, whatever. So, whereas, a spiritual person is somebody who has a connection with their higher power. And, that's the difference to me. Religion, to me, it just kind of seems fake, or it's boxed. It's like you're putting your higher power, who they call, God, I guess, and, they put him in a box. and they carry him around. Whereas spiritual, Jesus sitting right here next to me. You can't probably see him, but he's right here, and he always is. And when I do something wrong, I kind of feel him tapping on my shoulder, saying, maybe not, Dave.
Gotcha. Oh, did you have another thing to add? I know you said there's a couple of things.
I was going to say, did I answer that question?
Absolutely, you did. And yeah, I mean, I would consider myself more spiritual more than anything. My little shrine in my house, I have like a little bit of an ode to each religion, because I kind of think we're on the same team. Well, for the most part, right? We should be.
Should be.
Yeah, we should be. So yeah, that's how I kind of view things as far as spirituality. My higher power is God in the universe is like synonymous to me. If I'm praying to God, I'm praying to the universe and vice versa. Yeah, it's just pretty crazy feeling to kind of, again, I could be wrong, but it almost feels undeniable that there is a higher power and something that's greater than us out there, right? Like, we see things, we experience things, and yeah.
You gotta know. I mean, what is that inside of you that said that's wrong? When you were a little boy and you did something wrong, you knew you did something wrong. Well, where do you think that's coming from?
Yeah.
There's something's going on.
And you say kids will do something and then turn around to see if anybody saw. And
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Just a heads up, Mr. Cook, we got about 15 minutes left in the podcast. Just wanted to thank you again for coming on. I feel like we've been having a great conversation, and I hope you're having fun.
Me too. I'm having a really good time.
I hope it's living up to the hype for you.
Absolutely, bro. I'm on it.
For sure. Let's go and tackle another number.
Okay. Let's try 28.
28 medium still?
Yeah, we'll do you one more medium.
For sure. When was the last time you stepped outside your comfort zone?
Oh, wow. I'm running through my week because I do it just about every week, to tell you the truth. So, oh man. I have so many comfort zones, bro. I feel so comfortable with myself. It's hard. We went to Charlotte this week with my leadership team at work, and we went to visit another program that's similar to ours here in Myrtle Beach. So we went there, and I'm always kind of I'm not real quiet. I've really come out a lot since I got sober, and I talk a good bit to people, but I'm still always just my boss. I've been at my job for like a year, and I got hired, and dude, he's like the greatest guy in the world to work for. He's just excellent, super easygoing guy. It's really cool. And what we were doing was visiting a program that he used to run, or he was a big part of before, and so I was just like, I was going to lay back, and be really, just be chill, and just kind of take in everything and watch. And I was like, I saw him, and he was talking, and he was so in his zone, and I'm real comfortable in my skin, like in our own program. We've got 3 different programs, and I, no matter which building I'm in, I'm comfortable, and, I'm still a little out of place, but, I decided I'm going to just jump out because everybody else was being quiet. All my other team, they weren't asking questions and stuff. And man, I just started to go, I started looking around at the places, and I was like, there's a bunch of stuff that I want to know about this place. And I just started, bam, asking questions, and I got going, and Curtis was really, Curtis likes that, it really, it was nice. I impressed my boss. Now, what I was looking to do, I really learned a lot of things. And what it kind of taught me is, I've been in a lot of positions where we do that. I've been to, I don't know, seminars like down in Tampa or St. Pete's and stuff, and we go visit different programs and do things. I'm always, I'm always checking out things, but there's always something in somebody else's program that you can take. So I just stepped out and just started talking to everybody. Every part of the program that we went to, I just started asking a whole bunch of questions, and they weren't even involved in my part, housing, young adults. We also have a drop-in center and a crisis center that's for 12 to 17-year-olds. But in all those places, I just started asking a bunch of questions, because the leaders of those areas they weren't asking a whole bunch right away either. But what was cool, once I did break out and I just started talking and asking a bunch of questions, they kind of jumped in there and started doing it too. So maybe I helped them get free from their zone, by doing that. I stepped out and then they stepped out. So that's kind of cool.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it takes that, especially if those folks trusted you, then they see you doing something, they're like, okay, now I feel more comfortable. I see that happen in a lot of places. I've had 15 jobs in 10 years, so I've seen a lot of people.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, and I will say it's something I'm a little insecure about, because a lot of folks out there would say it's a negative, but honestly, for me at least, I feel like it's a positive, just because I've been able to experience a lot and meet a lot of different people. And for me, I've never been fired. It was always a choice for me to move on. So it was more so, I don't think I ever found the right spot for myself, but now I think I am. I mentioned I work with the youth, and for me to find my wholeness and my balance, I felt like, in my day job, I want to make sure I'm serving the youth, and then in the evening doing this podcast, I can serve, everyone else. So
that's very cool. Yeah. And it's not that uncommon for people in your generation to do that. And really, it's almost a seeking and finding thing. Your generation again is a little more needs that immediate satisfaction. And it's hard to get that if you're in a 20-year job. It's way different than, the old days. Like my 5-year-old says, back in the olden days, like 2 weeks ago. But I had a professor once, and she was talking about it, and I'm old school, so I hire people periodically, so I get tons of resumes in, and I look at them, and like my resume, like I got like 3 or 4 things on jobs that and they started in 1985, and I'll look at these resumes and I go, my God, this girl's got 10 jobs and it's like 2 years. I'm just like, oh my God. And it's like, it seems like 9 months is, a good, term that people are having with these jobs. But my professor said that. She was like, it's good to have, jobs like that. She said, they don't do that anymore. They just kind of, they go, and if they don't see what they need there, if they're not meeting, they're not being able to accomplish what they want to accomplish, they move on. And you know what? In a lot of ways, that's probably a real good way to do it. Because look at you. You went around, you did that, but now look at you. Bam, you got your spot. You fell into what you wanted to do and you got it. So who cares how many things are on your resume, You're doing it now, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it all comes together and makes sense after the fact sometimes,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's funny. I think a lot of folks have told me, like, that's just your generation. This is what we do. And I feel like companies kind of know that and kind of expect that turnover, not like it was before. I mean, if they didn't cut so many corners all the time, maybe we would stay.
That's right.
That's a whole other thing. But for sure, let's tackle one last number.
All right, so we're probably got to be in the last category. So let's do, let's do number 34, man.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I love it when my guest choose 34. So this one is, when was the last time you flew too close to the sun? Like your Icarus story, where maybe you were too overconfident and then it just kind of like crashed on you.
Yeah. So the organization I work with, it's the second time that I work there. I told you I've been there for just about a year. Well, 5 years ago, maybe something. I worked there then, only for 9 months. I'm kind of like you, and in that zone. So I got into there, and it's I worked in the crisis center that takes runaway homeless youth that are 12 to 17 years old, and short term, we get a lot of them from DSS, Department of Social Services, and Department of Juvenile Justice. Short term house them until they can find placement for them. Runaway kids until we can, hopefully get them back with their family or get them, into some kind of a placement situation. So I was there, and I was the program director for that home, and it was a beautiful, brand new home when I got there. It's a great place I lit work. We had a grand opening, our senator came. I mean, it was just, it was like this ideal position for me. Well, I told you I'd worked with Wendy's and I was a DM. I'm a manager. I run things, and that's, I'm an organizer and administrator, and that's what I do. And the person that was the executive director of the organization, she hired me, and I thought she hired me to run that building. And she more hired me to be a puppet, I think, because she was a huge micromanager. And we banged heads often. And one day I flew a little bit too close to the sun. And there was a situation, and it had to do with hiring someone, interviewing someone. I had finally, after 9 months, got her to change the policy that pulled her name off of the process to get, somebody hired, and plugged it back into the very end of that process. And one day she just, started snapping at me and another girl who was the outreach coordinator, I think, and Wendy, and we were interviewing a girl, and she had texted Wendy and said, "Hey, where are you guys at?" And she said, "Well, we're in David's office doing an interview." And oh, how come nobody told me about the interview or something? And I just blew that off when Wendy told me, and we had a meeting, all three of us in her office. And I carried the policy that she had just written over because I knew we were going to have that conversation, and I dropped it on her desk as I flew towards the sun.
Yeah.
And she didn't take it very well, and don't tell me, don't put my policy in front of me because I wrote it and I know what it says. And I says, well, and if you're barking at me about interviewing somebody, you're wrong. And, that's right when I went by, and it just started singeing my ass a little bit right there when I went by the sun. And I kind of twirled back and thought I was going to come back home. And, she told me I needed to leave. And so I walked out, and on my way out, I had this big stack of papers because we were getting ready to have a big inspection from the Housing and Urban Development. The U.S. government was coming to town, mm-hmm. and the people that give us $250,000 a year. And I kind of lifted it up and dropped it on the floor, and I said, "Good luck with that." And
it must have felt good.
It did feel really good. So, dude, I was in my office and I was packing up stuff, and she came over and she said, "Well, I didn't tell you to pack everything up." And I said, "Oh, well, are you going to tell me that you were wrong?" And she said, "No, I don't want to talk about it right now. I just want you to leave the property." And I said, "Okay." And so I left and I went home. So she was, how I got into that job was a professor of mine was, best friends with her. They grew up together, and so she kind of turned me on to it. So that night the professor called me and she said, you need to write your resignation letter now. She said, I don't want you to get fired from your first job out of college. So I wrote my resignation letter and I left.
Wow.
But, lo and behold, 3 years later, after 14 years in the organization, she walked out on a Monday morning. She had gotten another job and she left. And the president of the board of directors called me that week and asked me if I was interested in coming back. And when it was about 9 months later, and so I kept in high contact with them, calling them all the time. But when they got a new executive director in and we got together, and then a few months later, finally got me on board in a whole new position, something that's much more challenging for me, greater. I work from home. I'm out in the field a lot, but it's nice to, I work in my scrubs. My wife's a nurse. And I started liking scrubs. So I'm buying scrubs I hang out in the house, my scrubs or my shorts, and, I work, it's awesome. Do a lot of Zoom meetings.
What a story. That is... I've never had that kind of experience. I never got to go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, dude, it was good. Just a little singe, just a little burn ass. It wasn't too bad at all.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
And look at me now. I'm back and I'm better than ever, baby. And I see her on Zoom meetings. She's in like one of the coalition boards that I'm on, and I see her and I'm just like. She actually works in the hospital. She's the foundations director of the hospital that my wife works at. So my wife sees her once in a while too, and Jeannie just turns around and goes the other way. She didn't even want to look at her.
I wish someday you guys could laugh about it, Maybe, hopefully.
Dude, we laugh about it all the time.
Oh,
it's
awesome,
great.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. I was sick. I wasn't sleeping at night. She just drove me crazy. She's the maximum. If you ever been around a micromanager, dude, she was the maximum micromanager. She emailed you, and if you didn't answer her email in 10 minutes, she's like emailing back, why haven't you answered my email? Because that is not the only thing I do in life. That's why,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Man, do we have a good time or what, dude?
Yeah, man, definitely. We're over the hour, but I'm not worried about it. I am moving on though. We made it to the concluding portion of 34. But before we get there, there's this new thing I've been doing. I don't know if you heard it or not, but it's called the 34th mantra. And I'm having guests come on and do this mantra exercise with me. The phrase that I want you to fill in for yourself is I am, I can, I will. I am blank, I can blank, I will blank. How would you fill that out for yourself?
Man, I forgot to fill that out. I saw it. I am, I can, I will.
I am, I can, I will. Yeah.
I am humble. I can do anything through Christ who strengthens me. And I will continue to love and help all the people in the world that I can each and every day.
I feel it. And if you ever need a reminder, now you got this little sound bite of yourself.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
For sure. I'm glad you appreciate it. Yeah. That's the new thing. I don't think all the episodes that I've released so far have that yet. That's going to be a nice little twist at the end. But yeah, made it to the finale of 34 questions. Have a couple closeout questions for you. If you don't mind, I know we're running over a little bit, but if you got the time.
No. I got time for you, man.
Awesome. Appreciate it. This question is actually from my previous guest, and shout out to Diane. Sorry, I had blanked out, had to check her name again. But Diane's question for you is, what is your favorite memory from growing up?
Man, my favorite memory from growing up, I'll tell you what. So, and although I don't live anywhere near snow anymore, man, I just loved going out in the snow with my buddies and just hanging out and, going and, having those snowball fights, and just going and building those snowmen and stuff. And I loved hanging out in the snow when I was a kid. I don't like snow anymore. I like snow. I just don't like the cold. But man, I used to just, in being out in the snow when it was just like really snowing hard, Michigan, dude, it's, it was coming down and we'd just be trudging through snow. And man, it was crazy because I just loved it. There was nothing better to me. Summer was okay, but I really loved the winter when I was a kid. And I had a lot of good friends, and, it was just different. Times were different back in the 60s. It was just a whole different vibe. And life was great for me growing up. But just hanging out with my buds in the snow, playing around, beautifulness. Man, that was it, man. That was my thing.
For sure. Thank you for sharing. My second question for you is, what would you like to ask the next guest that comes on to 34 questions? You could go heavy or light. It's up to you.
Man, I you know what I like to always know? I like to know what people are reading these days, because I think books are a lost art in a way, and I know there's a lot of them out there. But I always like to hear, what are you reading, man? Because it's cool after you listen to their podcast and you hear them answer all their questions and you kind of getting to know them. And then you go, well, what are you reading today? What's going on with it? And sometimes they say, I'm not reading anything because books are becoming a lost art. I read mine on iPad, so
yeah. What I like about this question is that it can be taken in any way, right? Like depending on who I'm asking, I'm reading comments, or like I'm
absolutely
I'm reading signs. I don't know, so yeah. Yep. I wonder who's gonna end up with this one.
Very nice.
And then my last question for you, the question that ties everything together. 500 years from now, our descendants are watching this video. What would you like to tell them?
Man, I'm glad you made it that 500 years, because I will tell you today, I would think that you didn't. I would love for you guys to just keep continuing on loving each other and keep it going, man, because somewhere out there, go find my grandson. His last name is Koch, Cook. Go find him.
Oh, for sure. Any last things you'd like to say or add before we head out? Oh, tell the folks about your podcast and where to find it.
Okay, yeah, let's plug the podcast. So, Recovery for Real, real talk with real people about real recovery. And recovery, everybody always goes to drugs and alcohol. Well, recovery is not just about drugs and alcohol. You could be addicted to food, and you could be, have some kind of hurt, habit, or hang up about, anything. There could be things. You could have lost a son to drugs, or you could have lost a son to a car crash. I have friends. I've got 3 different friends that have lost their children. Really, God, more than that. I probably got 15 friends actually that have lost kids that I know. So there's a lot of different things, that we talk about on the podcast. It's not just drugs and alcohol. Of course, that's who I am. So, I talk about that a good bit. But man, any place you can find podcasts, pretty much, definitely Apple and Spotify and Google Podcasts. You can find me at Recovery for Real, recoveryforreal.com. And, that's it, bro. Come and listen.
Awesome. That we'll definitely have all the info down at the bottom wherever you're catching this. If it's on YouTube, the description. If you're checking this out on Spotify, it'll be in the notes. But yeah, thank you again, sir, for coming through, sharing your story. I think our conversation was excellent, and so I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you. 34 favorite podcast, bro.
Man, that means a lot to me. That means a lot.
Absolutely. And I listen to a lot of them, but I like this one. This is me.
Now I know, because I did, I saw the little dot in my analytics that was saying it was getting played out there in South Carolina, but now I know it's you.
That's me, bro.
Appreciate it. Want to thank all the folks out there for checking out the podcast as well. If you're catching this on Spotify or YouTube, definitely appreciate your time and interest. And I gotta say that thing that is always hard for me to say, but if you like it, go like it. If you loved it, subscribe and share. Definitely appreciate that as well. And man, I don't know why it feels like I'm grinding.
You wrote it. You can change it if you need to.
I could change it. I was trying to make it work for myself. I thought,
dude, I did it like 14 different ways.
see, my problem is I think everything's a great idea. So that first thing is like, oh, that's the best thing. And I'm trying to make it work. But yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, brother.
But remember to reach out, reach forward. As always, much love. And we'll catch you guys next time on 34 Questions.
Peace, y'all.
Before you head out, sir.
Yeah, man.
Got a quick favor to ask you. If
okay.
You probably maybe